Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So, what is happening? So today at 2 p.m. I have my philosophy exam. So my university takes me 30 minutes to reach. So you can say I will leave by 1:30, and I have to also take shower and everything I have to do basically. So I'll study. I have studied a lot of things for my philosophy exam. It is final. I will have MCQs. I'll try to do my best and try to score a good score. Let's see if I'm live. Just let me check, and without wasting any time, we'll start with studying. Let's see. Oh, okay, I'm live. So it's not that hard. I have to just memorize all the questions, all the quizzes we have done in this subject. It's kind of very boring subject, to be honest. No one likes philosophy. I don't know why I have in my MBBS. So let me quickly just open the paper I have to do and we'll start. Okay, let's start. So this is my okay. So it's around 61 pages. Each page has approximately 5 paper. I have to just do all of this. Let's start with the first question. Classic Greek philosopher like okay, first before starting let me set a timer for 30 minutes. What do you think, guys? Let's see how much I can do in 30 minutes. I'll do 32 minutes because 2 minutes I'll need to like locking. Let's start. Classical Greek philosopher like Aristotle and Plato defined beauty according to order, symmetry, and definite or proportion, harmony, and unity. Okay. Empiricists charge that if claims of knowledge are limited to things we know with logical certainty, we will never be able to know anything about existing things in the world because the actual existence of the thing in the world is known only through experience, not reason. Many of the questions are repeated, so I will not have any problem memorizing them. Which of the following does not express the meaning of moral value? Okay, does not. So values which are judgment of value based on the appearance of an object and the emotional response is ego. Okay. Which of the following does not express the meaning of syllogism? I really don't know what is syllogism. I'm just learning. So I just know that does not inductive reasoning is not. Okay. If the conclusion of a paradox of the arrow were true, then an arrow is always at rest at any instant of time. What would be the logical conclusion? Motion is an illusion. What is the mind-body problem? How does the mind related to body? So the answer is in the question mind-body problem. So how does the mind related to body? Okay. What is the final cause according to Aristotle theory of the four causes? The purpose or end goal of an object. Okay. According to Plato's ontology, which realm contains the true ultimate reality? The intelligible world of the forms. Okay. In the theories of Thomas Hobbes, the sovereign is legitimate primarily because okay, the contract is made among the people to surrender rights to the sovereign. See the answer sovereign, so I have to find the sovereign in exchange. But here all are sovereigns, the biggest sovereign. Okay. So I will teach you also my technique. Personally, I use, I don't know, maybe it will be common, but many people use this technique. How to, like, if you have an exam and it's just, you have the papers, basically that the exam will come from this, then the best way to memorize it faster and efficiently so that you don't forget in the exam, you don't go blank in the exam is like people I have noticed and I have observed that what people do, they memorize in their mind, like they don't speak little loudly. The best way to memorize something is to speak little loudly. You should hear what are you reading, not in your mind but with your own ears, because our subconscious mind is like very good at remembering things, so you have to be little loud. And also, the best way to revise, like not again reading the question, is to put these questions in chat gpt and tell it to give. I'll show you how I'll revise this ppt like this. And like one more ppt I have, I will revise with the help of chat gpt, with the help of AI. It really helps, because if you are unable to answer right now, then what is the guarantee that you will be able to answer that in the examination center? So you have to read loudly. After that, you have to take a break for 10-15 minutes to like clear your mind. And then again you have to like give it a test, and you have to see, and the questions you did wrong, you have to write down the question number. And after the whole test is done, you have to again revise that questions. Okay, let's start. In the theories of Thomas Hobbes, the sovereign is legendary primarily because the contract is made among the people to surrender the rights to the sovereign exchange for peace and society. Okay. Plato's ideal state, as described in the Republic, advocates for rule by philosopher king due to their superior wisdom and knowledge of the form of the good. Okay. Which of these statements support John Hicks' veil of soul making? Okay. God deliberately. Okay, this one is repeated. I'll not repeat which is repeated. A common criticism of the theological argument is the Darwin theory of natural selection provides an alternate explanation for okay. It suggests a designer can emerge without a conscious designer. Okay. According to Immanuel Kant, the paper is very blur. What does it mean to have a disinterested aesthetic experience? Appreciate an object without wanting to use it or own it. Okay. Both Plato and theorists are often identified as rationalists because they agree generally on a series of beliefs that distinguish them from empirists. What the fuck is this? Okay, sorry, focusing. Which of the following is not a typical rationalist claim? Though sense experience is something deceptive, it is necessary for true knowledge. What is this? I think I have to learn English again. I'm not able to understand. Both Plato and Descartes are often identified as rationalists because they agree generally on a series of belief that distinguish them from empiricists. Which of the following is not a typical rationalist claim? Okay, not a typical rational. What the hell is rationalist? Okay, no problem. Through sense experience is sometimes deceptive, it is necessary for true knowledge. Okay, through sense experience is sometimes deceptive, it is necessary for true knowledge. Okay. I think I should search what is rationalist. What is rationalist? Person who bases open action on reason and knowledge rather than really. Okay, a person who okay, understood. Which of the statement does not support the meaning of metaethics? Does not support. It applies the question of what should I do in a particular situation. What is meta? I forgot what is metaethics. What is meta? Sorry, ethics. I really don't know. So it's the nature, meaning, and foundation of moral judgment rather than personal action. Nature, okay, it's about nature. Which of the following does not support the meaning of methodic? It applies the question, what should I do in a particular situation? Okay. An argument is considered valid if it has logical structure by the conclusion guaranteed by the premises. Okay. Which of the following is true of pre-Socratic philosophers? They are looking for rationalism for natural. Okay. According to Kant's deontology, for an action to have true moral worth, it must be performed from the motive of duty and respect for the moral law. Okay. For the duty of and respect for the moral law. Deontology duty. See, this is how you learn. DT, you have to find the similar. What is deontology? Let me first search. Deontology is an ethical theory that evaluates the morality of action based on adherence to rules or duty rather than their consequence. It can be derived from duty and logos study. Okay. Hylomorphism fundamentally differs from Plato's theory of forms by holding their form of a thinking is inseparable from particular instance of matter and form. What is hylomorphism? What is hylomorphism? Hylomorphism. Hylomorphism is an Aristotle principle doctrine that every physical object is a compound of matter, hyl, and form, morph. Okay. What is the question now? Hylomorphism fundamentally differs from Plato's theory of forms by holding that the forms of a thinking is inseparable from the particular instance of matter it forms. Okay. Okay. Which of the following does not express the meaning of ontological idealism? What is ontological now? Ontological. One of the first elaborate work of European political philosophy is Plato's The Republic. How does the Locke describe his understanding of the state of freedom to be able to live as one pleases? Okay. Yeah, state of freedom. Which statement about the relationship between free will and moral will is generally accepted in the free will defense? A world where agents are free to choose good or evil is superior to a world where they are merely programmed to be good. Okay. Immanuel Kant criticism of the ontological argument. Immanuel Kant criticism of existence is not particular. What does it mean? That existence does not add a concept definition of being. That existence is an objective moral. Okay. Which of the following express the meaning of the essential theories of art? They state the essential properties. Okay. Hume claimed that the principle of association which governs how the mind moves from one idea to the next are primarily based on what three concepts? Resemblance, contiguity, and cause and effect. Okay, you have to remember resemblance, contiguity, and cause and effect. Which of the following statements are not true about ethical relativism? All human beings around the world agree to the same moral standard. Yet it is not true, of course. An argument with this structure, therefore, it is called hypothetical syllogism. Okay, an argument with this structure. No. I think this is wrong. Let me check. Where's my phone? ChatGPT. An argument with this structure, if P then Q, if Q then R, P then R. Hypothetical. Okay, it is, if R comes, it is hypothetical syllogism. In the paradox of Achilles and the tortoise, why does Zeno argue the faster Achilles will never overtake? Because you must say, okay, this one I know. What does natives call the driving motivation of the willpower? Which of the following statements support the meaning of hedonist theory? It is believed that pleasure or the absence of pain is the most important principle in determining the morality of potential course of action. Okay. A key challenge often raised against nominalism is its difficulty in explaining the genuine non-arbitrary similarity shared by individual object. Okay. According to the Plato, what was the role of woman in an ideal society? Women could occupy all of the same role, men occupy they could be higher. Okay. What is the evidential problem of evil? It considers the amount of kind of evil in the world count as probable evidence against the existence of God. Okay. What's the basic summary of the first clause cosmological idea? God is the best beginning of the universe. Okay, first clause is the God is the best example beginning. Okay. In the context of the problem of universal, what are particulars? Huh. Individual concrete entities that exist in space and time. In the context of the problem of universals, what are particulars? I think particular means individual. Okay, particular means individual. Concrete entities that exist in space and time. In Aristotle's theory, where are ideas forms located? Okay, concepts are the functional organization of things. Concept must always coexist with the matter they structure. What is this? What is this? In Aristotle theory, where are concept, ideas, forms located? Coexist. Okay. In Aristotle account, categories are indicators of the different ways things can be. Okay. What is the key difference in the source of moral law between Hobbes and Locke? Hobbes believed moral law is created by the sovereign. Locke believed it is derived from the eternal law of nature and reason. Hobbes का पहले sovereign. Okay. What is the primary distinction between political philosophy and political science? Political philosophy is normative question, while political science is what is descriptive. Okay, political philosophy is normative and political science is descriptive. What is this? Shit. Okay. In the context of the problem of free will, what is meant by free will? Okay, God has given all the human being the right to make their own. Okay. Posteriori argument means an argument drawn from the sense experience. The bracket I have to remember. Okay. Anyway, let's see if I remember. Which of the following statements are not correct? Ego. I know this one. For Aristotle, what is the final cause? This was goal. I think it was the goal. I think something goal. Ultimate purpose for being. Okay. The modern debate between liberalism and communitarianism primarily centers on the conflicts between the individual rights and autonomy versus community values and the collective good. Which of the following does not express the idea of free will defense? As a human, I am morally imperfect. God forces people to what? No, this is wrong. What does Guanilo replace? A being than which nothing greater can be conceived with to show that Saint Alice's argument is invalid. An island, okay. What is the fundamental difference in focusing when applying the principle of utility between act utilitarianism and rule? Act utilitarianism in realization why it establishes general moral. Okay, I know. Oh, this is very. Kant want to know how dash knowledge is possible in metaphysics. Synthetic a priori. Okay. I think therefore I am served Descartes as the truth he cannot doubt. Okay, DD. The truth he cannot doubt. Hume divides our perception into two categories, impression and ideas. ओके ह्यूम ने डिवाइड किया परसेप्शन को दो कैटेगरीज में, इम्प्रेशन एंड आइडियाज. ओके आई द लिटरल मीनिंग ऑफ फिलोसॉफी इज लव ऑफ विजडम. लव ऑफ विजडम. Okay. Who first used the term philosophy? Pythagoras. Branch of philosophy that study values? Axiology. Value आया तो axiology. Which of the following is a subfield of metaphysics? Ontology. Okay. Which of the following question does not belong to epistemological questions? What are the fundamental parts of the world? What is epistemology? Epistemology. We have a branch of physics that studies nature, origin, and limits of human knowledge. Okay. Okay, understood. By Anaximander, cosmology of the universe originated from the Apeiron. Okay, Apeiron. Anaximander, Apeiron. What is animism? Belief in an innumerable spiritual being concerned with human affairs and capable of helping or harming human interests. Okay, understood. The pre-Socratic philosopher who thought reality was composed of atom and empty space was Democritus. Okay, Democritus thought atoms and empty space. The pre-Socratic philosopher who thought the creative principle is fire was Heraclitus. Atoms was Democritus. Fire was Heraclitus. Which of the following statements support the meaning of utilitarism? Actions are judged by their utility, that is, they are related according to useful of their consequences. Okay. Theology ethics is also known as consequential ethics. Okay. The notion of corporate social responsibility is related to business ethics. Corporate means business. In Aristotle virtue ethics, what is the intellectual virtue required to determine the golden mean in any given situation? Phronis, practical wisdom. Okay. Golden means phronis, practical wisdom. The primary criticism of act is vulnerability. In its vulnerability to the justification of act violate individual right. Individual, okay. Which art form did Hegel consider the highest because it can express any idea in medium of human imagination? Poetry. Okay, he considered poetry. David Hume's standard of taste suggests that although beauty is subject to, we can still have expert in why. Expert have delicacy of taste and practical commitment. Okay, delicacy of taste. According to the objective view of beauty held by thinkers like Plato, what is the primary source of aesthetic values? Okay, aesthetic values proportion, symmetry, and harmony. Which Greek word serves as root for aesthetic and refers to sensual perception? Aesthesis. Okay. Immanuel Kant argued that judgment of beauty are universally subjective. What does it mean? Beauty is a personal feeling, but we expect others to. Which are this requirement for division true judge of taste? The judge must be prejudice and have delicacy of taste. According to natives, which of the following is true Dionism point of view? It is frenzy. Yeah, I know this one. Branch of metaphysics that studies the nature of human being. Existence as individual in society and the universe is ontology. Okay, branch of metaphysics nature of human being. Exists as an individual in society is ontology. Which pre-Socratic philosopher considers pluralist? Empedocles. Which pre-Socratic philosophers would be considered pluralist? Empedocles. Okay. Empedocles. Pluralist आया Empedocles. Pluralist Empedocles. Which of the following is a long-running controversy in metaphysics? Monism. In Aristotle theory, where are concept ideas form located? Concept function organization thing concept. Okay. In Aristotle theory of cause, which one entertains question about the sort, substance, and parts make an object and uncountable concept? Material cause. Okay. For Aristotle, what is the final cause? The purpose of which is the ultimate goal of being. Which of the following is what Aristotle means that by the agent cause? Okay, efficient cause. In Aristotle account of the four case, The material cause is the one that explains the individuality of the thing. Okay, okay. In Aristotle account, categories are indicators of different ways things can be done. Which of these is not Aristotle purpose? Motion, FFM. Material, final, and formal. Not, the motion is not. Ontology is study of existence. Ontology is the study of existence. Which of the following does not express the meaning of ontological materialism? It is belief. Okay. It is belief that only the mind and its ideas and thoughts are real. Which of the following does not express the meaning of ontological idealism? It is believed in material thing of okay, समझ गया. Plato's theory of forms asserts okay, let's leave it. The philosophical concept of ontology basically a branch of metaphysics that deals with the study of existence. Okay. According to Plato, all of the following are true of forms except forms exist in temporal physical world. Okay. The metaphysical view that only one ultimately monoism. According to Plato, universal suggests truth, beauty, is an example of higher forms. Okay. Truth, beauty, and God are higher forms. The metaphysical view that only there are many pluralism. What is the meaning of ये हो गया है. This one is done. Though all of our knowledge begins with experience. Question and answer dialogue in which propositions are methodically scrutinized to uncover the truth is known as the Socratic method. Okay, हाँ method पूछा है ना. Plato thought that human soul knew everything before falling this, so knowing this actually remember what is the remember known as anamnesis reminiscence. Okay. Which of the following does not express the meaning of rationalism? Does not. It is a theory based on the claim that experience is the source of knowledge. Rationalism. I think some opinion action. Knowledge and rational is nothing. Descartes reject the empiricist way of thinking because, as he noted, any sense experiment may itself be mistaken, so science cannot be used to judge the truth. experience. Indubitable. Mythological doubts. John Locke. Empedocles gave fire. Okay. Study of knowledge. Existence. Ontology is study of any okay. According to Thales, the primary constituent of the universe is water. Water. Thales stole water. The famous statement, "No man ever stepped in the same way," is attributed by Heraclitus. River Heraclitus. What is the animism? Belief in concerning human capable of helping and harming. Okay. If the following does not accept the meaning of ontological materialism. Yes. Which of the following is true of pre-Socratic philosophers? They were looking for rational reason for natural phenomena. Okay. Which of the following question does not belong to the political philosophy question? What is the difference between human act and action that are based on instinct? Agnostic. Okay, from here I'm taking a break, guys. Sorry, guys, I took a longer break. I'm sorry for that. Let's continue with philosophy. Where were we? I think this PDF we have to do. Let's just start. I think I'll need coffee or energy drink. Let's try. Which of the following is? What is the meaning of agonism? Okay. Why does Saint Anselm of Canterbury think the greatest conceivable being must exist in reality? If something exists in reality, greater and why does Saint? I have to search this one up because I'm not sure. Where's my chat GPT? Why does Saint Anselm of Canterbury thinks the greatest conceivable being must exist in reality?
Anselm's reasoning is kind of like a thought experiment. He says that if you can imagine the greatest possible being, one that nothing greater can be thought, then that being must exist in reality, not just in your mind. Why? Because something
So the correct answer is if something exists in reality, it is greater than if it exists only in the understanding.
Exactly. So
okay. Which of these statements support the moral argument for the existence of God? Humans have the capacity to moral, so there must be a lawgiver God who creates them. What is meant by free will? God has given all. Okay. What is the evidential problem of evil? If it considers the amount of evil in the world as conversation against the existence of God. Which one of the following does not express the ideas of Irenaeus, soul-making theory? All the evil exists in the universe in some way or control, making it better place than any other possible. What's the best of a possible argument developed? Who was the best of all possible worlds? Argument development. Gottfried Leibniz was the best. Okay. Which of the following is what Aristotle meant by the agent cause or the cause that explain who or what made something or caused something? Efficient cause. John Locke told his complete set. Tabula rasa was called by John Locke. Oh, I think I have to check my YouTube also. Thank you, Archana. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for the motivation. Which of the following does not express the meaning of ontological idealism? No, not this one. The famous statement, "No man ever steps in the same." Okay. Which of the following does not express the meaning of ontological idealism? It is believed that material things and processes are more real than the human mind. Which of the following is a long running concept? Okay, this one is repeated. What does the logical problem of evil shows? Best way to learn how to assess long passages contained in an argument is to long passages practice. Okay, the following argument: all mammals have wings or reptiles. It's valid or invalid? It's invalid. On the following argument, it's invalid. If you assume that the set of statement is true, and yet you can deduce a false or absurd statement from that, then the original set of statement as a whole must be false. What the hell is this? Wait. If you assume that a set of statement is true, and yet you can deduce a false or absurd statement from it, then the original set of statement as a whole must be false. Okay, reduction ad absurdum. An inductive argument that succeeds in providing probable but conclusive logical support for its conclusion is said to be strong. Deductive logic is also known as formal logic. The invalid argument form known as affirming the consequent has this pattern. A deductive valid argument with true premises is said to be sound. Modest Dolan's method of denying has this argument pattern. Method of denying P then Q, Q therefore not. Okay. According to the formulation of the categorical imperative, we should always act as an end self. Okay. Kant claims that a moral law is given to each person by one's own will. Which of the following statements supports the meaning of ethical egoism? Individuals having actual motive. Duty is deontology. Okay, duty is deontology. According to Nietzsche, which of the following characteristics slave mortality, herd mortality? Which of the statement does not support the meaning of normative ethics? It is concerned with the nature of ethical properties, statement, attitudes, and judgments. Which of these statements supports the meaning of normative ethics? Normative means nature, so it deals with the criteria. Norms, a set of consideration how one should act. Okay. Which of the following statements support the meaning of deontological ethics? Deontology was what? I forgot. Deontology definition. But what is deontology? The study of nature of duty. Okay, duty means deontology. Which of the following statements supports the meaning? Action, rightness, or wrongness depending on conformity to a certain moral norm. Okay. Which of the following statements supports the meaning of teleological ethics? Now, what is teleology? Define teleology. How many terms I have to remember? The explanation of phenomena in terms of the purpose this or rather than the cause by which they arise. I need an example. I cannot understand this way. What kind of example is this? No theory of history can do without theology. I need easy. In terms of purpose, this okay. Purpose. It's about purpose. Okay. Which of the following is the meaning of theological? So, action, rightness, or wrong depends on consequence. Okay, it's about the consequence. Which of the following statements supports the meaning of the virtue ethics? Okay, it provides guidance as to the sort of characteristic and behavior a good person will seek to achieve. Okay, it's about the ethics, so behavior is important. Which of the following statements supports the meaning of divine command theory? Morality is based on the command. Okay, so I have to remember command, or character. Egoistic are okay, altruism. Which of this is a utilitarian theorist? John Stuart Mill, JSM. According to Kant, morality requires us to follow a universal unconditional framework of maxims. Okay, maxims I will remember. Is this repeated? Yep, this is repeated. Which of the family reason Aristotle advocates for the rule of law over the rule of man? Law represents impartial reason, man is correcting passion. Okay. According to Aristotle, which of the following is the highest one? Okay, I know this one. What is it? Normative ethics. Okay, more normative ethics. Okay, the golden rule we should. Okay. Deontology is the moral duty. Now it is getting hard for me. Which of the following statements supports the meaning of utilitarianism? aesthetic judgment. Or can't aesthetic judgment is subjective? Subjective, okay, so here it is wrong. Subjective. Plato view is that true beauty is not, okay, no, this one is subjective. Hobbes' right to this war of every man against every human, also this, oh, I cannot. The Rosie, the first model Polly was based on the Moss Asian also says the family. Okay, I think I need to play chess or something. I'm just so tired. Let's start. This will do this. Yeah, I knew. Ha ha ha. This.